Here is a rocket that flew to the moon. Here is a man, Professor McSpoon, who constructed the rocket that flew to the moon. Here is Billy, who asked for a ride in the moon rocket. "Certainly, come inside," said the clever inventor, Professor McSpoon, who constructed the rocket that flew to the moon. Here goes the blast-off, buzzing and fizzing, as into the sky the rocket goes whizzing, with Billy, the boy who asked for a ride, in the moon rocket, crouching and clinging inside, with the clever inventor, Professor McSpoon, who constructed the rocket that flew to the moon. Here is the moon, placid and white, shining peacefully down that night when the blast-off went banging and buzzing and fizzing, as into the sky the rocket went whizzing, with Billy, the boy who asked for a ride, in the moon rocket, crouching and clinging inside, with the clever inventor, Professor McSpoon, who constructed the rocket that flew to the moon. Here is the rocket in orbit, then landing. The professor and Billy climb out, and are standing at last on the moon, which, placid and white, was shining peacefully down that night when the blast-off went banging and buzzing and fizzing, as into the sky the rocket went whizzing, with Billy, the boy who asked for a ride, in the moon rocket, crouching and clinging inside, with the clever inventor, Professor McSpoon, who constructed the rocket that flew to the moon. Here is a moon beast, a sort of bear, growling and prowling towards the place where the professor and Bill, proud as peacocks, are standing, delighted they'd made so successful a landing at last on the moon, which, placid and white, was shining peacefully down that night when the blast-off went banging and buzzing and fizzing, as into the sky the rocket went whizzing, with Billy, the boy who asked for a ride, in the moon rocket, crouching and clinging inside, with the clever inventor, Professor McSpoon, who constructed the rocket that flew to the moon. The two try to run, but cannot tell whether it is best to galumph or to float like a feather, to escape from the moon beast, a sort of bear who's growling and prowling towards the place where the professor and Billy had proudly been standing, delighted they'd made so successful a landing at last on the moon, which, placid and white, was shining peacefully down that night when the blast-off went banging and buzzing and fizzing, as into the sky the rocket went whizzing, with Billy, the boy who asked for a ride, in the moon rocket, crouching and clinging inside, with the clever inventor, Professor McSpoon, who constructed the rocket that flew to the moon. The professor and Billy hid in a crater and returned to the rocket very much later. They entered the rocket, and oh, what a shock it was to find the moon bear already in there. They didn't stay in it for quite half a minute, but turning to run, they must have done by mistake something which pressed a knob or a switch, for the blast-off went banging and buzzing and fizzing, and up from the moon the rocket went whizzing. Away went the moon beast. He whizzed through the night as the rocket that carried him fizzed out of sight. But somewhere he landed, of that there's no doubt, for people are constantly pointing him out. And night after night, as at stars they stare, astronomers notice him there, the great bear. Now Billy, the boy, and Professor McSpoon were left behind, waiting, marooned on the moon. But a spaceship in orbit was brought down and landed, and managed to rescue the two who were stranded. Then its blast-off went banging and buzzing and fizzing, and back to the Earth that spaceship went whizzing, with both of our aeronauts safely inside, immensely enjoying their homeward ride. So Professor McSpoon and Billy were soon giving talks on TV on their trip to the moon.
This is the story of Little Red Hen and her friends, Duck, Pig and Cat. One summer's day, the Little Red Hen found a grain of wheat. "A grain of wheat," said the Little Red Hen to herself. "I'll plant this." She asked the Duck, "Will you help me plant this grain of wheat?" "Quack, quack." "Not I," said the Duck. She asked the Pig, "Will you help me plant this grain of wheat?"
"Not I,"
said the Pig. She asked the Cat, "Will you help me plant this grain of wheat?" "Meow, not I," said the Cat. "Then I will plant it myself," said the Little Red Hen. And she did. Soon the wheat grew tall, and the Little Red Hen knew it was time to reap it. "Who will help me reap the wheat?" she asked. "Quack, quack. Not I," said the duck.
"Not I,"
said the pig. "Meow. Not I," said the cat. "Then I will reap the wheat myself," said the Little Red Hen. And she did. Now the wheat was ready to be taken to the mill to be made into flour. "Who will help me carry the wheat to the mill?" asked the Little Red Hen. "Quack, quack. Not I," said the duck.
"Not I,"
said the pig. "Meow. Not I," said the cat. "Then I will carry it myself," said the Little Red Hen. And she did. Next, the flour was ready to be made into dough. "Who will help me make the dough?" said the Little Red Hen. "Quack, quack. Not I," said the duck.
"Not I,"
said the pig. "Meow. Not I," said the cat. "Then I will make it myself," said the Little Red Hen. And she did. Soon the bread was ready to go into the oven. "Who will help me bake the bread?" asked the Little Red Hen. "Quack, quack. Not I," said the duck.
"Not I,"
said the pig. "Meow. Not I," said the cat. "Then I will bake it myself," said the Little Red Hen. And she did. And after the loaf had been taken from the oven, it was set on the window sill to cool. "And now," asked the Little Red Hen, "who will help me eat the bread?" "Quack, quack, quack, I will," said the duck.
"I will,"
said the pig. "Meow, meow, I will," said the cat. "No, I will eat it myself," said the Little Red Hen. And she did.
Do you know what a splodge is? Well, it's a blob of something like paint that splodges all over the place. And a splodgy sound, well, that's a sound that splodges all over the place. Once upon a time, there were 3 splodges. A big splodge, a middle-sized splodge, and a very small splodge. They were very happy splodges. They loved splodging about and doing splodgy dances. And they loved splodging into different shapes. A long, wriggly shape. Or a squashy, bouncy shape. Front to back shapes. Back to front shapes. Right way up shapes. And upside down shapes. Or shapes that stretched into the distance, as far as the eye could see. And the Splodges could become animals, too. Can you guess what animals these are? That's a splodgy cow. Splodgy birds. Did you guess what they were? Well, they were splodgy elephants, trumpeting. Well, one day, one of the Splodges was almost being an elephant when some black squares came along. They came marching along very stiffly with their 4 straight sides. When they saw the Splodge, they stopped and said, "What a mess that Splodge is. Not neat and tidy like we are. Let's straighten it out." And before the Splodge could finish being an elephant, they jumped on it. And they pushed it. And pressed it. And squeezed it. And squashed it into a square. And they did the same with the second Splodge. Squashed it into a square as well. But the third Splodge quickly changed itself into a dog and ran away before the squares could get it. The Splodges that had been squashed into squares couldn't splodge anymore. They tried to. But their straight sides stopped them. And when the Splodge who'd run away came back, it was very sad to find its friends so stiff and square. It did a very splodgy dance, hoping they'd copy it. But all they could do now was rock from side to side. Then the Splodge had an idea. It turned itself into a Splodge playing a trumpet and started to play some real splodgy music. When they heard the music, the other Splodges, all squashed up inside their squares, longed to break out into a splodgy dance again. The more the trumpet played, the more the Splodges felt they wanted to join in the music, until they were so bursting with splodginess, their straight sides couldn't hold them in anymore. They got splodgier and splodgier until they were all Splodges again, without a straight side between them.
Once, a long, long time ago, when winter was nearly over and spring had nearly begun, all the birds were very busy starting to build their nests. There they all were, the robin, the eagle, the seagull and the blackbird, the duck, the owl and the hummingbird, all very busy. All, that is, except Magpie. And she didn't feel much like working. You see, it was a very nice day, and she was out and about looking for scrips and scraps and bibs and bobs for her collection of old junk. Her hoard of bits and pieces she'd picked up from behind chimneys and up drain pipes, pebbles, beads, buttons, things like that. Anything bright and interesting or unusual, Magpie was sure to collect. Just as she was flying along, on the lookout for new treasure, she caught sight of Sparrow, her mouth full of bits of straw and twigs. "What you doing? What you doing?" said Magpie. "Building my nest," said Sparrow, "like you'll have to soon before you lay your eggs." "Oh, yes," said Magpie. "Yes," said Sparrow. "Now, put that milk bottle top down and come over here and watch. First you have to find a twig, and then another twig, another twig, another twig, another twig, another twig." "Oh, don't make me laugh," said Magpie. I know all that." And off she flew. And as she flew on, looking for Scrips and Scraps and Bibs and Bobs, she came up to Duck, who was upside down with her mouth full of mud. "What you doing? What you doing?" said Magpie. "Building my nest," said Duck, "like you'll have to soon, before you lay your eggs." "Oh, yes," said Magpie. "Yes," said Duck. "Throw away that old earwig, whack, and watch me. After you've got all your twigs, you have to stick them with mud pats, like this. Pat, 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 pat." "Oh, don't make me laugh," said Magpie. I know all that." And off she flew. And as she flew on, looking for Scrips and Scraps and Bibs and Bobs, she saw Pigeon with a mouthful of feathers. "What you doing? What you doing?" said Magpie. "Building my nest," said Pigeon, "like you'll have to soon, before you lay your eggs." "Oh, yes," said Magpie. "Yes," said Pigeon. "Now look, put that bus ticket down and come over here and learn how. You have to make yourself warm and cosy, right? Right. So you dig your beak into your chest like this, right? And find one of those very soft, fluffy feathers down there. And you lay that out very carefully inside your nest to keep it warm and cosy, warm and cosy, warm and cosy." "Oh, don't make me laugh," said Magpie. I know all that." And off she flew. Well, not long after that, it was time for Magpie to lay her eggs, and she looked out from her perch, and there were all the other birds sitting in their well-built, warm, cosy nests, laying their eggs. "Oh, no," said Magpie. I haven't got anywhere to lay mine. I'd better hurry." And she remembered Sparrow saying something about patting them, and Pigeon saying something about cosy feathers, and so she rushed out and quickly grabbed as many twigs as she could and made a great big pile of them, and then she threw a feather on the top, and the milk bottle top, and the earwig, and the bus ticket, and she just had time to sit herself down and lay her eggs. And if you look at a magpie's nest, you'll see that it's always a mess. And she ends up throwing her Scrips and Scraps and Bibs and Bobs on it too. I think she just likes it like that.
People are always asking questions, have you noticed? Well, I do, all the time. I expect you ask them too. This story is about a fish who was wondering about something. We'll tell you about him.
This little fish said to his mother, "Just tell me this one thing. Why should it be that the fish in the sea are all unable to sing?" His mother smiled and patted his head. "I have no answer to that," said she, "but I should think the crab might know. Why don't you go and see?" This little fish went up to the crab. "Just tell me this one thing. Why should it be that the fish in the sea are all unable to sing?"
The crab laughed and shook his claw. "I have no answer to that," said he, "but I should think the whale might know. Why don't you go and see?"
This little fish swam up to the whale. "Just tell me this one thing. Why should it be that the fish in the sea are all unable to sing?"
The whale, he blinked a large black eye. "I have no answer to that," said he, "but I should think the cod might know. Why don't you go and see?"
This little fish looked round for the cod. "Just tell me this one thing. Why should it be that the fish in the sea are all unable to sing?
The cod, he mumbled and flicked his tail. I have no answer to that, said he, but I should think the shark might know. Why don't you go and see?
This little fish sought out the shark. Just tell me this one thing. Why should it be that the fish in the sea are all unable to sing?
The shark, when asked, just gnashed his teeth. I have no answer to that, said he, but I should think the eel might know. Why don't you go and see?
This little fish dashed after the eel. Just tell me this one thing. Why should it be that the fish in the sea are all unable to sing?
The eel, he shivered and wriggled about. I have no answer to that, said he, but I should think the sea would know. Why don't you go and see?
This little fish called out to the sea, Just tell me this one thing. Why should it be that the fish in the sea are all unable to sing?
The sea sang back to the little fish, Just listen to me, young fellow. What need is there for fish to sing when I can roar and bellow?
Hello. I'm going to tell you a story about 3 billy goats. Now, a billy goat is a boy goat, and he's got a tuft under his chin, rather like a beard. Once upon a time, there were 3 billy goats called Gruff, and they lived on the side of a mountain, and they liked to eat clover and sweet grass. And every day they used to sing this song. We are the Gruffs, we are the Gruffs, we are 3 billy goats, Gruff. There's little billy goat, middle billy goat, and great big billy goat, Gruff. Well, the mountain that they lived on didn't have very much clover and green grass. But across the valley there was another mountain with plenty of clover and grass. Now, to get to the other mountain, they had to cross a bridge, and under the bridge lived a wicked old troll. One day, the smallest billy goat, Gruff, decided to cross the bridge. So he trotted over the bridge, and the troll immediately sang out, I am a troll, I am a troll, I am a cross-bad, stupid old troll. I am a troll, I am a troll, and I live in this dingy dark hole, and who's that stamping over my bridge? Well, the smallest billy goat, Gruff, kept on trotting. And as he trotted, he sang, I'm the Gruff, I'm the Gruff, I'm the smallest billy goat, Gruff. I'm a Gruff, 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 I'm a billy goat, Gruff, I'm the smallest billy goat, Gruff. All right then, said the troll, I shall come up and eat you. Oh, don't do that, said the smallest billy goat, Gruff, because my brother is coming along in a moment, and he's bigger than me. Very well then, said the troll. So the smallest billy goat, Gruff, trotted across the bridge and up the mountain. Not long afterwards, the middle-sized billy goat, Gruff, came trotting over the bridge, and the troll sang out, I am a troll, I am a troll, I am a cross-bad, stupid old troll. I am a troll, I am a troll, and I lurk in this dingy dark hole, and who's that stamping over my bridge? Well, the middle-sized billy goat, Gruff, kept on trotting, and as he trotted he sang, I'm a Gruff, I'm a Gruff, I'm the middle-sized billy goat, Gruff. I'm a Gruff, 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 I'm a Gruff, 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 I'm the middle-sized billy goat, Gruff. All right then, said the troll, I shall come up and eat you. Oh, you'll be very foolish to do that, said the middle-sized billy goat, Gruff, because my big brother is coming very soon, and he's much bigger and much tastier than I am. All right then, said the troll. So the middle-sized billy goat, Gruff, trotted across the bridge. And not long afterwards, the biggest billy goat, Gruff, came trotting down and over the bridge. And the troll sang out, I'm a troll, I'm a troll, I'm a cross, bad, stupid old troll. I'm a troll, I'm a troll, and I lurk in this dingy dark hole. And who's that stamping and tramping on my bridge? And the biggest billy goat Gruff sang out, I'm a Gruff, I'm a Gruff, I'm the biggest billy goat Gruff. I'm a Gruff, 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 I'm a Gruff, 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 I'm the biggest billy goat Gruff. All right then, said the troll, I shall come up and eat you. Very well then, said the biggest billy goat Gruff. And the troll started to climb onto the bridge, not knowing what he was letting himself in for, because the biggest billy goat Gruff took a step back, put his head down, stuck his horns out, and charged and tossed the troll off the bridge down, 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 down into the valley below. And the troll was never seen again. And ever since then, any time the billy goats Gruff want to cross the bridge to the green grass and the clover, they do so. And as they cross, they sing, We're the Gruffs, we're the Gruffs, we are 3 billy goats Gruff. There's little billy goat, middle billy goat, and great big billy goat Gruff.
Said the table to the chair, You can hardly be aware how I suffer from the heat and from chilblains on my feet. If we took a little walk, we might have a little talk. Pray let us take the air, said the table to the chair. Said the chair unto the table, Now you know we are not able. How foolishly you talk when you know we cannot walk. Said the table with a sigh, It can do no harm to try. I've as many legs as you. Why can't we walk on 2? So they both went slowly down and walked about the town, with a cheerful bumpy sound as they toddled round and round, and everybody cried, as they hastened to their side, See, the table and the chair have come out to take the air. But in going down an alley to a castle in the valley, they completely lost their way, and wandered all the day, till to see them safely back, they paid a ducky quack and a beetle and a mouse, who took them to their house. Then they whispered to each other, Oh, delightful little brother, what a lovely walk we've taken. Let us dine on beans and bacon. So the ducky and the little brownie mousie and the beetle dined, and danced upon their heads, till they toddled to their beds.
This is a story about 3 animals with flat noses and curly tails and make noises like this. One day, a mother pig gathered her 3 little pigs together and said, You're old enough and big enough to go out into the world on your own. But there's one thing you must do. You must all build yourself houses to keep the big bad wolf away. All right, mother, they said, and off they went into the forest. Well, the first pig was rather a lazy little pig. He didn't want to build a house. He wanted to go to sleep. So he found some straw and laid down and went fast asleep. When he woke up, it was quite dark, and he realized he hadn't built himself a house. So he gathered the straw together as quickly as possible and built himself a house and went inside and fell fast asleep again. The second little pig wasn't quite so lazy. He didn't want to go to sleep. He wanted to go fishing. So he found a stream and sat on the bank and fished all day. Then he realized that it was getting dark. So he gathered some sticks together very quickly and built himself a house out of sticks. He went inside and fell fast asleep. Well, the third little pig, he wasn't lazy at all. while he was going through the forest, he met a man with lots of bricks. "May I have some of your bricks to build a house with?" said the third little pig. "Yes," said the man, "of course you can." And the third little pig began to build his house out of bricks. And when he'd finished, he looked back and admired it. Then he went into his house and he fell fast asleep. Later that night, the first little pig, who had built his house out of straw, woke up and heard footsteps outside the house. Clump, 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 clump. Then he heard a voice call out, little pig, may I come in?" "No," said the little pig, "not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin, you can't come in." Then said the wolf, "I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house in." Then the wolf huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed, and the house fell in. So the first little pig ran out of the house as fast as he could possibly go, through the forest, to the second little pig's house, which was made out of sticks. "May I come in? May I come in?" said the first little pig to the second little pig. "Yes, come in." And he went in, and the two little pigs were huddled together in the house made of sticks. They fell asleep. And later that night, they woke up to the sound of footsteps outside the house. Clump, 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 clump. Then they heard the voice of the big bad wolf. Little pigs, may I come in?" "No," said the little pigs, "we won't let you in, not by the hairs of our chinny chin chin." Then said the wolf, "I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house in." Then he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed again, and he blew the house in. Then the two little pigs ran out of the house as fast as they could possibly go, through the forest, to the third little pig's house. They knocked on the third little pig's house door. "May we come in? May we come in? The big bad wolf is after us." "Yes," said the third little pig, and let them in. There they were inside the house made of bricks, huddled together. Then later that night, they heard footsteps outside the house. Clump, 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 clump. Then a voice called out, little pigs, may I come in?" "No," said the three little pigs, "not by the hair of our chinny chin chin, we will not let you in." Then said the wolf, "I will huff, and I will puff, and I will blow your house in." Then he huffed, and he puffed, and he huffed again. But nothing happened. The house stayed absolutely still. Then said the big bad wolf, "I will huff, and I will puff, and I'll blow harder." And the wolf huffed and puffed and blew even harder. But still nothing happened. Then said the big bad wolf, "I shall climb onto your roof and climb down your chimney." And they heard the big bad wolf going up the walls and onto the roof. Then said the little pig who had made his house out of bricks, "I know what we can do. We can go and fetch some water." So they fetched a great big bucket of water and put it in the fireplace. And as the wolf came down, splash, straight into the bucket of water. "Oh, I don't like this," said the bad wolf. "I don't like this at all," and went scurrying back up the chimney and down the roof and off into the forest. And he'd never been seen since. And the three little pigs were very, very happy and lived happily ever after in the house made of bricks.
Have you ever looked out on a moonlit night and seen how shiny and silvery things look? Fishermen often go out fishing at night time, like the ones in this story. They were Grandfather Tom, his son Big Jack, and his son David, who was only a boy. "We are fishermen three, out we go to sea, Big Jack, David, and me." One dark night, they set out to sea in their boat to go fishing. The boat was very old. It often got holes in it, and the water came in, and the sail was torn and frayed. The fishing nets had holes in them too, so that the fish escaped and swam away, and they had nothing to eat for breakfast when they came home. But tonight was different. As soon as they had sailed away from the shore, the sea became very calm. The wind died down, and the moon and the stars came out.
Grandfather Tom sang in a creaky old voice, and Big Jack and David joined in the last line. We are fishermen three, out we go to sea, Big Jack, David, and me. When they were far out to sea, so far out that they couldn't see the land any more, they got ready to cast their nets. Grandfather Tom threw his net up high into the sky and brought down a sharp silver star. Then Big Jack threw his net out as far across the water as he could and brought back crisp white foam. David dropped his net just over the side of the boat, and it sank down deep and came back with a silver cobweb. And from everywhere, silver fish jumped into the boat. Well, I'm glad about the fish, said Grandfather Tom. But what can I do with this star? I wonder what I shall do with this foam, said Big Jack. And what can I do with this cobweb? Said David. They turned the boat round and headed for home. As they went, Grandfather Tom sang, and Big Jack and David joined in the last line. We are fishermen three, back we come from the sea, Big Jack, David, and me. When they got near their village, it was nearly morning and getting light. They had another look at the things they'd caught. Grandfather Tom looked at his star, and then he saw that really it was a piece of metal. Big Jack took a look at his white foam and saw it was really a long piece of rope. And David looked at his silver cobweb and saw it was really a white handkerchief. I can mend the holes in the boat with this metal, said Grandfather Tom. I can mend the nets with this rope, said Big Jack. And I can patch the sail with this handkerchief, said David. Our boat will look like new again. We are fishermen three, out we go to sea, Big Jack, David, and me.
Do you ever sing songs? In the bath's a good place to try. It sounds good there. This story is about fearless Fred the Lion, who likes singing and making music as well. Fred was out walking one day when he saw a big poster on the side of the village hall, and it read, Grand Talent Competition next Saturday night. Prizes £10 and a silver cup to the winner. Anybody welcome. There and then, Fred decided he would enter the talent competition. But what could he do? He thought of all the things he might be able to do. He could try juggling a lot of oranges in the air all together. He could whistle a bit, or just act silly like a clown. And he was quite a good conjurer. He knew one or two tricks. But he wasn't really happy with any of these. Then he had an idea. I'll form a group, and I'll be the singer. Fred, you're a genius, he said to himself, and off he went to ask his friends to join the group. The first thing to find was a drummer, and Ollie Octopus was the only one in town with any drums, so he was in. Next, a bass player. Harry Hippo was the best bass player in town, and he said he'd love to be in Fred's group, although he hadn't played for a long time. Fred knew Ronnie Rat was a very good guitar player and asked him to join. Yeah, man, said Ronnie Rat. Groovy. I haven't played for a long time, but count me in. Last but not least, somebody to play the piano, and an old friend of Fred's, Kenny the Kangaroo, was a very good pianist, and although he hadn't played for a long time either, he would be just right. Fred, of course, would be the singer, and the next day they all got together to practice, because the competition was next Saturday, and they didn't have much time. At first, they made a terrible noise that didn't sound like music at all. But they practiced and practiced, sometimes till late into the night. But then at last, it began to sound like music. Listen to the music. Listen to the music. Listen to the music. Listen to the band. Then the big day came, and off they went to the village hall to enter the competition. There were lots of people inside the hall. It was standing room only, and Fred felt quite nervous. The competition started, and just as Fred had thought, there were jugglers and whistlers and clowns and conjurers, and he was glad he decided not to be any of these. Then came the big moment, and the announcer announced in a very good manner,
Ladies and gentlemen, Fearless Fred's amazing animal band.
They began to play, and Fearless Fred sang, Listen to the music. Listen to the music. Listen to the music. Listen to the band. All you have to do is let the sun shine through. Open up your doors and let the sun shine through. All you have to do is let the sun shine through. Open up your doors and let it shine. Listen to the music. Listen to the music. Listen to the music. Come on, clap your hands. The crowd clapped and clapped and clapped. Fred's amazing animal band were the winners. Fred was presented with a huge silver trophy and the £10 first prize, which he shared with Ollie Octopus, Harry Hippo, Ronnie Rat, and Kenny Kangaroo. Then they sang the song again, and everyone sang with them. You too. Listen to the music. Listen to the music. Listen